The Gilded Age Season 2 Episode 4 is shaping up that we're about to see the real housewives of the Gilded Age. Will we see Bertha go throw them hands? It seems like it's about to go down in here. Let me recap this episode for you. And after I'm done breaking this down, I will give you all of my theories of what I think is going to happen during this season of the Gilded Age. And I think that a couple of things in here point that I was correct, and we're going to see exactly what I predicted. Mrs. Russell's master plan of having the Met to challenge the other opera house is about to unravel in her face. Because while she is giving her grand tour to all the people that she wants to join, she is then pulled aside by the man who is helping do the construction of this place, and he tells her in no uncertain terms that we ain't got no money. We can't finish this motherfucker. And if you can help out, then now is the time to come out of your pocket and help out. Now, we've seen that the Russells are trying to make this huge power play to move up in society. And though it might seem like they hold all the cards, if you truly look at it, you can see their house is truly a deck of cards. And it could come crumbling down in their face. We are then met with the love affair of the season, Ada and Reverend Forte, and we can see this progressing faster than I ever thought it would. But I guess when you deal with people at that age, you gotta move fast, right? Makes no sense to do things slowly. And this dude, as soon as he seen her, he was thirsty for her. And he ain't wasting no time to make a move to try to be with her. Now, this put Aunt Agnes in the bad position, because what is she going to do, Aunt Agnes, without her sister? She's given away a lot of things for her sister, and it seems like she's going to be left high and dry. We then see Marian going out and being the stand-in for this young girl's mother, because her mother isn't no longer there, and she does a great job. But while she's there, a whole bunch of other girls that she teaches also recognize her, but we see that they look down upon her because she seems to be the teacher and not the wife. After this, we get the hot and lusty Mrs. Blang and Larry, and she has put it on this young boy. I mean, Jesus Christ, this kid is just all up in there, laying up in the bed, don't want to leave the bed, don't want to be without her. In the end, it's no way that this could end good, because we've seen in the preview that there was something going to make the news, and we see that later on in this episode. George is still trying to get back in the good graces of his wife, and she is all upset because her plan to make the Met the next big opera house, or the big opera house in the whole city, is about to blow up in her face. Why? Because of lack of money. But if there's one thing the Russells have, that is cash for that ass. They have enough cash to go and get it done. Now, I don't know how she is with the cash. Like, does she come from money? I don't think so. So it's really all his cash, and he agrees to go out there and take a look at the situation and try to figure out what's going on here to try to make his wife a success in this town, because he truly just wants to get back in her good graces. If he would have just spilled the beans on the lady maid from the beginning, he would never be in this situation. But because he didn't, he finds himself in a situation where he has no choice but to give it up the goods to his wife. An indecent proposal was made that if this man leaves and goes to the West Coast, he'll be taken care of, but he can no longer see his grandkid or his wife. He debates this, and he says that I'm not going to go unless I hear it from her mouth. And I said before that I think that this husband is lying. I don't think that the daughter knows anything about it, and I think that is what we're going to see. We then see them, Peggy and her boss, make it all the way down south and meet up with Booker T. Washington. And he is taken by her, the fact that she is a female writer and that she could do some good by doing that and inspire other black women to do the same thing. I was always wondering where I seen this boss of hers, and now I realize exactly where I seen him from. I seen that dude. He played Muhammad Ali in The Godfather of Harlem. We then see again Ada and the Reverend and the love affair, and they're walking around, and this man is really wasting no time. He tells us straight up that he can't wait till Sunday to see her again. He gives her a bunch of flowers. She's afraid to take the flowers home because she doesn't know how she can explain getting these flowers to her sister. Now, why she would have to explain it, but again, she has respect for her sister, and she knows that her sister does not want to be left alone, and if this thing does take off like it looks like it's gonna take off, her sister will be left high and dry all by herself. Player hater Bertha can't let her son have no fun. Basically told this chick like this: listen, by the time my son gets in his prime, your pussy gonna be dusty, all right? It ain't gonna work. Right? You had your fun, now move on, or I'm going to block you from everything. Not only is your seat gonna be taken away from the new opera house, you're gonna get kicked up out of society, and that's what it's gonna be. So you're gonna have to make this call. Bertha is just a hater. The Reverend is here just ready to get in Ada's drawers. He's like, listen, I may look like the Undertaker with my hat, but girl, I'm gonna take you under under the blankets, under this horse and buggy, anywhere, girl. I got to have it. I remember you from Sex and the City. But she goes inside and she tells her niece everything. Her niece is all excited for her. She has the flowers. She's extremely upset and scared of the flowers. They show a bee to let you know that these are the flowers. This bee is just buzzing around inside the flowers, and then she just drops dime and throws her niece under the bus on Agnes, saying, you're in the full-blown flirtation going on with this guy, and how are you just gonna abandon me after everything that I've done for you all these years? Pays for all your clothes, pay for your food, pay for your toilet paper. Everything you got is because of me, and now you just want to jump up and leave me for this Reverend? Jesus, that's what I think she's saying. She ain't saying it like that, but that's what she means when she said it. Ada's like, it's not even that serious. It's no big deal. Now, Miss Astor then has a meeting with Mr. Winterton just to tell her that your wife's a hoe. All right, we know what your wife been doing. All right, we know how she's been doing you. We know what she's been doing to you, and we can't accept that. She can't come up in the box. And not only can not she in the box, you got to give your box up completely. All right, you can't even have it. We don't even want you in it without her. Your props are taken, and this man is not having it. Now, I said it before, one of the best parts of being old is that you don't have to give a fuck anymore. And he said, you want to cross me and make an enemy of me? At your own risk. I think Lady Astor is in trouble. I think that this man is not playing around, and he is going to come back later on and make it work. After this, we see the trickery of the table when we seen Bertha move her name so she could sit her ass right next to the Duke. And I had a theory about the Duke. We'll talk about it later, but it seems that she wins the Duke over. The Duke likes being around her, and she then steals the Duke away to come stay with her at the Newport mansion that she has out there. And her old handmaid, lady maid, whatever you want to call it, Mrs. Winterton, is pissed the fuck off because she wanted this Duke and she was stolen from him. I like the scene between her and Agnes's son. Recognizes her from when she was doing her job across the streets. During dinner at Booker T. Washington's house, it shows why you don't mix politics at the dinner table, because it got a little feisty, it got a little spicy. I thought they were about to come to blows. Peggy is over here trying to say, listen, you both want the same thing, but you're going about it two different ways. He is very militant. He doesn't think that you can use white people or have white people that's going to help you. Booker T is like, you need white people to help you or you're never going to get where you want to go. If I pick the side, I will go with Booker T's side because he is correct in this situation. You cannot get anything without a coalition of people. That's the only way change comes across. The next morning, Peggy jumps on a door and she sees him in his underwear. She gets a little embarrassed, but she has a plan that maybe they should do the interview of the kids a little bit different and get their actual take and their actual input of what's going on in the school and how much they like the school the way it is. And that's what they set off to do. Mr. Whittington then tells his wife that, listen, basically, girl, we out. We out. We out of it all. Only thing we could do is get a room in the Met because they took our box away from us. And the Duke is away from us. And she blames it all on Bertha. She's like, the only one who could have dropped a dime on me and told everybody who I was and exposed me was Bertha. Now, I did not see Bertha do it. I don't think they showed Bertha do it, but I gotta agree with her. I don't know who else would have dropped a dime, but I will say those damn servants got big mouths. You always see them listening to the gossip and gossiping all the time, and she gets pissed off about this whole situation, and she just loses her mind when she sees in the paper that the Duke is going to stay at the Russell's place. My first theory I came up with was that Peggy is going to have sex with her boss and then get fired and lose her job. And I think that we can see this clearly playing out. They have the things in common. Number one thing in common that they have is that they both lost a child. Then they showed her see him in his underwear. I don't think they would have done that unless that's the plan. In the end, it's going to be bad for Peggy because he's a married man. He's not going to leave his wife. She's going to wind up getting fired and be out of job. That is my number one theory that I think is going to happen. My number two theory that I said is that I believe that the Russell's daughter is going to marry the Duke. And we've seen in this episode that the Duke is going to stay at their house. They also pointed out that he was younger than they thought that he would be. I think they did all that, and everything is setting up for the Russell's daughter to marry the Duke. After that, when we deal with George, I think that it's going to go down very bloody when they deal with this Union delegate. They brought up the Pinkertons. When you're dealing with them, then that means shots are going to be fired, and I think they're going to wind up killing a bunch of Union people, and it's going to look really bad for his company. As for the son who was blown off by her, who said, oh, I will challenge my mother for you, and she's like, nah, not at all. It's not going to be like that. Don't do it. I think that he is going to start hating on his mother because he took away his ass. And that's what's going to go down, and the house is going to be divided. I said before that the theme of this episode and the whole series is a house divided. And I think this is the chips in the Russell's armor that's going to eventually bring Russell's down. And they're not going to make their way into society right off the bat. It's going to take a few seasons, but I think this could be the downfall of the Russells. On the theme as a house divided, we see the Reverend did ask Ada to marry him, and she accepted. So now we're going to have Aunt Agnes's house divided on this situation. Will the marriage actually go through? Let me know in the comment section. What do you think? That's my theories for this episode of The Gilded Age. Please put it in the comment section what you think is going to happen. If you have any theories, let me know. And if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and of course, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.